Hello Bio 2, we're going to continue on with section 1 and chapter 28 here, and it is going to be, again, we're just going to focus on our essential body functions of our arthropods. And so we're going to start with circulation. So arthropods have an open circulatory system. So again, it's just kind of a loose association of kind of some vessels, different passageways. The blood isn't kind of always strictly contained in vessels, so that what happens is the heart pumps blood through different arteries that branch and enter the tissues. So it's not all closed off in vessels and veins and things like that. However, it is more kind of compact than some of the mollusks and worms that we've talked about before. And so blood leaves the blood vessels and it moves through sinuses, or like I said, little gaps or cavities. And then blood collects in large sinuses surrounding the heart, and it re-enters the heart. So it is at one point contained in the vessels, however, will move through the sinuses and cavities into other parts of the body. And then again, it kind of pools outside of the heart for a while before it actually re-enters. And for excretion, most terrestrial arthropods dispose of their nitrogenous waste, so like their ammonia, waste made of nitrogen, using what is known as a malphizian, I believe is how, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, as a malphizian tubules is how I'm going to go with malphizian tubules. And malphizian tubules are sac-like organs that will extract waste from blood and then add them to digestive wastes. So these tubules will help take waste out of our blood. So there is a buildup of kind of ammonia and things in the blood of insects, and they actually pass them into digestive waste, so the waste from the food that they have eaten, in order for it to all be excreted as one. So it's a pretty interesting little function there, interesting excretory organ that helps them survive. And in aquatic arthropods, however, diffusion will move our waste from the body into the surrounding water. So diffusion will help out our aquatic arthropods, not those tubules. And so response, so most arthropods have a very well-developed nervous system, and all arthropods do in fact finally have what we can call a brain. So this is one of the first groups that have what we can actually refer to as an exact brain. And there are two nerve cords that will connect the brain to a ventral nerve cord. So they have a nerve cord that kind of runs on the underside of their body that gets connected to their brain. And along this nerve cord are several groups of nerve cells called ganglia, and these ganglia coordinate the movement of individual legs and wings. So there are some animals that we've talked to up to this point only have ganglia that control everything. So now these arthropods have ganglia that work in coordination with their brain to kind of help them move their individual legs and their individual wings. And most arthropods, to kind of go along with their response, have sophisticated sense organs that are such as compound eyes. And a compound eye may have more than 2,000 separate lenses, and they can detect color and motion very well. So a compound eye is a big structure of this group that helps them kind of respond so well to their environment. And so for movement, this is a big thing with arthropods. They move using well-developed groups of muscles that are coordinated and controlled by the nervous system. And muscles generate force by contracting and then pulling on the exoskeleton. So their muscles contract, this contraction pulls on their exoskeleton, and the result is movement. And at each body joint, there's different muscles that either flex or extend the joint. So they have different muscles that will actually be responsible for the bending or the flexing and the extending or the straightening out of their joints. As you can see here, we have the red muscles are the muscles that are going to flex, that will bend, that will kind of move us like this, and then the other ones will extend, the blue ones, to straighten out the joint. So they have separate muscles to help carry out those different functions, which will make them very capable and very good at moving. And for reproduction, our arthropods that live on land have internal fertilization, and in some species the males simply just deposit the sperm inside the females. However, in other species, a male will deposit a sperm packet that is later just picked up by the female. So that's kind of an interesting example. The male just kind of leaves a packet of sperm, and the female will come along and pick it up when it is ready. And then aquatic arthropods may have internal or external fertilization. And the last part of this section is going to be what happens when an arthropod will outgrow its exoskeleton. So this is going to be another life function that they have to worry about, because if you think about it, having a hard skeleton on the outside could make it pretty difficult to grow. So we're going to look at what happens when they outgrow their exoskeleton. So when they outgrow their exoskeleton, they undergo a period that is known as molting. And during molting, an arthropod just sheds its entire exoskeleton and it makes a larger one to take its place. So it's basically getting out with the old, in with the new. It's outgrowing its clothes. It needs to shed its entire exoskeleton and make a larger one to take its place. And then most arthropods will molt several times in their life. And however, an arthropod is vulnerable to predators while its shell is soft. Again, they're not going to be able to move as well, and they're not going to have that protection from the exoskeleton. So something that might just, if it gets hit by something, and let's say the exoskeleton, we usually just block it and use them to protect themselves. However, that block could, or that little bit of force could actually cause serious damage to the arthropod. And how this actually happens is that skin glands will digest the inner part of the exoskeleton while other glands secrete the new part. And when the new is ready, the animal pulls itself out of what remains of the original skeleton in order for the new one to kind of take its place. So that's it for section 1 in chapter 28. Let me know if you have any questions.